Swift has reportedly threatened legal action against the social media user that tracks private jets, per the Washington Post. Jack Sweeney, the Florida college student who runs social media accounts tracking flights of her and other celebrities' private jets, logs the takeoffs and landings of planes and helicopters owned by hundreds of billionaires, politicians, and other public figures, along with estimates of their planet-warming emissions, per the Washington Post.
Taylor Swift reportedly sold off one of her two private jets worth $44 million last month after her lawyers first threatened to sue Sweeney for, quote, stalking and harassing by publicly tracking her flights. Now, according to the Daily Mail, that is.
Yeah, this is wild. So this is definitely is reminiscent of the Elon Jets account that Elon, after buying Twitter and averring that it was going to be a free speech bastion, shut down that account on the basis that it was infringing on his privacy and putting his safety and the safety of his children at risk. It was, in fact, the perceived hypocrisy around that caused the rift between he and Barry Weiss, who at the time was working on the Twitter files. Now, that account was later restored, but I think this is a really interesting question about how much privacy billionaires are entitled to. Is this really a privacy issue? Taylor Swift doesn't seem to be reacting to any privacy or safety concerns as much as the embarrassment of being seen as someone who's progressive and on the right side of issues.
But flies a private jet everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am frankly all about celebrities having more levels of privacy. I think the extent to which we hang on their every word and we stalk them and we're obsessed with, taking photos of them when they said the paparazzi type stuff, I find that all a little gross. So I want to sympathize. However, flying your private jet is a pretty obtrusive thing to do. You can't really, that's going to get noticed. So that somebody has figured out how to publish or timestamp the takeoff and landing logs and do some kind of. It's not like he didn't plant a device on her to track her.
Right.
It's pretty publicly available information. So I don't really, I can't endorse the idea that he shouldn't be allowed to do that he obviously is allowed to do that.
And one way to obscure your comings and goings would be to not fly private.
Right. Well, although flying commercial would not obscure your coming and goings.
No, it would, because they know where she's going because it's her jet. If she wants to go to the airport and get on a plane like everybody else, the people on the plane know she's there.
Well,
anyone who sees her knows she's there.
But they would all go, oh my God, it's Taylor Swift. It would be tracked. It would be posted on social media, and we'd all know her exact.
I don't know that that's true.
Yes.
What
do you mean?
Everybody so many people fly public all the time. Celebrities are flying public all the time, and those people aren't being targeted in the way that folks with private jet accounts are being targeted. The reason Elon Jets work, the reason this account works, is because the flight, the location of the plane is publicly available. And so this story in part was blowing up because there was reporting that she took a 13-minute flight. That is not something that, first of all, would ever happen with a public flight. In a public aircraft carrier, and two, it might not even be attributable to her. It's just really following the plane. So
right. They said she sold one of the planes, and that had to do with why one of the flights looked suspiciously. And
in some of these instances that have happened, I think with one of the Kardashians or Jenners, the plane was going to refuel or do something without her, and so it looked like a really short flight, but she had nothing to do with it. I mean, these kind of things happen, and that's, there's upsides and downsides to that. But the point is, the closeness with which they're able to track these movements is because you can track a plane in a way that publicly in a way that you can't track a person's whereabouts. If I get off a plane, if I get on a bus, if I take an Uber, that's not all publicly available information.
Yeah, although, it increasingly is. With the amount of security cameras everywhere and people, again, if you're famous, people just taking photos of you on the street, there is a soft ability to kind of track where people are.
But that's a lot more work than just saying, hey, I logged into FAA or wherever you get this information and set up an auto alert. That's what the Elon Jets account was. It was an auto alert that was pegged to his aircraft.
We know where Tucker Carlson is, right? Because somebody just saw him and stopped him, took a photo, and posted it.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I think she'd be pretty successfully tracked if she was flying commercial, although that would be so fun to magically end up on the same flight as Taylor Swift.
If that's what floats her boat, Rafi. But look, so on one hand, I think that on some level she has to take her licks. If she wants to fly private, and I also appreciate that there are times that because of these people's schedules and the amount of money that's riding on them, that it makes sense. I know that at one point during the campaign, Bernie got flack for being on a private plane, which he ordinarily did not do. But there were like 2 events in a part of the country where they just don't have a lot of airports and ways to get around, like in the middle of the country. And the only way he was going to make both things was to have a private connection. And so you can still think that's not justified and that you should just schedule events differently or better. But the nature of a campaign season is pretty anomalous. And Taylor Swift's life is similarly pretty anomalous. Now you can say the value of a socialist campaign is more than a pop star trying to get to...
You could say that.
You could say that, or you can say that neither is worth it at the end of the day. Like, I think that's also fine and legitimate. But you can't have it both ways. And I think that she's ultimately, I think, just going to have to say, hey, I don't like it. I wish I were having fewer emissions. I have to do this for this period of my life, and I'm going to try to offset it in these other ways.
She's not I think she's being treated now by the right like she's some deeply political progressive actor, when really all she has done is, like endorse Joe Biden last time and probably again. Like, it's not, everybody understands the hypocrisy of these celebrities who talk so much about progressive policies on climate change and then are jetting off everywhere, are jetting to the climate policy conference, in fact, and there's, a visceral hypocrisy there. Is Taylor Swift one of those people? I don't really know that she is. I don't think she's out there shaming other people for their emissions at the same time she's flying her private jet. She's just kind of trying to live her life relatively free of weighing in on politics, aside from the Joe Biden endorsement, which is why there has now been some pushback from other people on the right, including Matt Walsh, who is the leader of boycotts against Budweiser and Target and others, saying she's not even in like the top 100 celebrities I would try to invade our political capital against, because she's mostly inoffensive.
Yeah, I mean, so another part of this is just that people are obsessed with Taylor Swift, and they're going to make a story out of Taylor Swift. There was a piece in the Daily Mail that tracked her journey to the Super Bowl, her presumed journey, where I guess she'll be in Tokyo at a concert. And so it follows, the title is, as Taylor Swift embarks on a mammoth journey through 17 time zones to make it to the Super Bowl, here's exactly what will happen to her body.
What? What will happen to her body?
Being on a flight for that long and crossing so many time zones also means there's going to be varying levels of light peeking through the airplane windows. This could disrupt Taylor's circadian rhythm or her internal body
people
clock.
Are so obsessed.
Natural light suppresses melatonin. Like, it's
wow.
It's produced in the pineal gland in the brain. Like, why are we talking about this? It's because she gets clicks. And so you can write about her presumptive blood clots from her long flight.
Why, from getting vaccinated? No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Harmless jesting we're doing in this very serious Taylor Swift segment.
And so people are going to pay attention to it. And I think it's hard. I'm not trying to say celebrities shouldn't think it's hard, but this is the price you pay. And if it's just this and not like an actual stalker, count your blessings.
I'm actually going to correct a previous statement. If I was on a plane and Taylor Swift was sitting next to me, I probably wouldn't even notice, because I break out my Nintendo Switch and my headphones and I stare at that game screen, and the plane could go down. All those things you and your friends think are going to start happening to all the planes, or the door could fall off, everybody could get sucked out. I would not have any idea that was taking place, because I'm just going to be absorbed in Breath of the Wild or something, or Tears of the Kingdom.
Unless, of course, you're sucked out.
Well, hopefully not. But if I am, I hope to land on the Lost Island. So that does it for us for today. Tomorrow on Rising, you'll be in great hands with our Friday host. So please tune in. It'll be a fantastic show.
Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss any content. And for those of you who like to listen while you're on the go, we're now available anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Bye-bye.
Take care.